Welcome back, Foundations of Judicial Power. Alright, so where does the judicial branch receive their power? Well, it's from Article 3 of the Constitution. So we know Article 1 dealt with legislative power, Article 2 with executive power, Article 3 gets to what they felt was the least important branch, but they have come up significantly, and we'll talk about how that has happened over time. So, Article 3 provides us with the basis for judicial power, and two of the things that it includes there is the idea that federal judges serve for life, not any specific number of years, but for life, and that Congress has the power to create lower courts. So the Supreme Court established this, scratch that. The Constitution established the Supreme Court, and then Congress can establish district courts and appellate courts, courts that are lower than the Supreme Court. All right, Federalist number 78. So we know that these papers don't have legal bearing, but they give us a good idea of what the framers intended. And so here, Alexander Hamilton, this is a very brief summary. Check out the video on Federalist 78, by the way. But briefly, he argued for an independent judiciary, meaning that it would not be affected by politics. So it would be independent of the president, independent of Congress, independent of worrying about elections and that kind of thing. He also argued for life tenure for judges and for the power of judicial review. Again, check out the video on Federalist 78 for a more in-depth discussion, especially of that independent judiciary idea, because that is definitely one of the key features of our judicial branch, is that it is independent. All right, another thing that greatly strengthened the judicial branch was the Supreme Court case in 1803, Marbury versus Madison. This is the most important Supreme Court case in American history. It is the one where the Supreme Court gave itself the power of judicial review. So please notice that judicial review was not specifically mentioned in the Constitution. But this case, Marbury versus Madison, established that principle. This is going to be discussed more in more detail in the video on Marbury versus Madison, so check it out. All right, so this case established judicial review, and it greatly strengthened the judiciary. Judicial review means that the Supreme Court can declare federal laws, executive actions or orders, administrative laws, and state laws unconstitutional. So when we deal with Supreme Court and judicial checks, they're the easiest because essentially they can decide whether what somebody's doing, whether it's Congress, the president, bureaucracy, or states, whether that is allowed under the Constitution, and they can say it is or is not constitutional. All right, remember, subscribe if you haven't already. If this video is going to help you at all, please hit that like button for me. This has been a Money production.